I'm gonna be really honest with you, this episode may be integral on building machinery to stop the cluster, but to tell you the truth, thinking about this episode alone on how comedic it is involving Peridot versus Pause when it comes to the bickering between Peridot and Paul, I'm gonna be real with you, this is honestly mainly towards an entertainment standpoint rather than Peridot's arc standpoint. The plot is that the cluster is inside the Earth's core, and the only way to reach to the Earth's core is to build a huge drill. So it's up to the main characters to build a drill, but at the same time, Paul and Peridot are not agreeing with anything, mainly the fact that Peridot sees that Paul isn't any better, knowing full well that Paws are mainly to take orders. This is also revealed that there are multiple paws, meaning that what Peridot stated of paws taking orders and not doing what Peridots do really shows that Peridot is gem racist in some of the capacity of how you describe it, and this leads to her and Paul in a robot battle to see who is the best gem at making technology, and to tell you the truth, the most humorous and adorable robotic competition you will ever seen from a kid's cartoon. Because not only the robots that Paul and Peridot made retrospectively is adorable and humorous, but the humorous part as well, they actually compete with each other and the movements of the robots themselves. I don't know if it's either the fact that the animation style is what makes it humorous, but it's literally the execution of them all that really makes it humorous, especially during the montage. I'm just saying, I understand what this episode is trying to do when it comes to Paws being their own thing of what Paul is trying to do after her development, while Peridot describes Peridots as superior over Paws and that Paws take orders. But considering that this leads to so many humorous moments involving Paul and Peridot, and considering that this is where the arc involving Peridot showcased a lot more when it comes to her relationship with the Crystal Gems, I gotta say, it's honestly astonishing that we never get to see Peridot go on a gem adventures with the Crystal Gems, knowing forward that whole dynamic between them would have been a lot more better. No matter how I view this episode, I just can't be able to take anything seriously because of how hilarious it is, mainly the robots that Peridot and Paul are operating against each other. Like, even though that this arc centering around Peridot is really important, this being mostly a fiddle episode for mainly centering around building robots really shows that this is honestly the most hilarious episode out of the Peridot arc, but that's mainly of how unintentional it all was. The battle at the end is somewhat taking it seriously, but at the same time, the moment where Peridot grabbed Paul's robot and just hitting it just before Paul was about to kick Peridot is honestly good. Like, really good for mainly the humorous reasons, but at the same time, it's the subversion that actually makes this a lot more humorous. I know I've seen this clip multiple times on YouTube, but at the same time, it never gets old. This episode was a lot more amusing when it comes to the entertainment value, and even though that the ending itself, well, Paul and Peridot make amends, I can say for a fact that if it wasn't for the montage and of how humorous it was involving the two robots facing each other before the battle, mainly during the montage, then this episode would have been something else that could have been boring. It's really a good thing that these dynamics are mostly once in a while or once in a lifetime when it comes to these types of characters in a show like this. I'm giving this episode an 8 out of 10.